So, important stuff to know. When we start dealing with exponents in equations, we need to remember what the inverse operation of an exponent is. Liacho, yes, you can. Can anybody tell me what is the inverse operation of an exponent? Also, can you guys tell me, can you hear this hole moving around in my mouth, like with my teeth and stuff? Weird question, but like, you know. Layla, yes, it is square root. So when I have a number squared, the opposite of that will be to square root the number. So in other words, the same way plus 1 minus 1 cancels out, what happens is if we have a number that's squared and we square root it, what happens is my square root cancels out and my square cancels out. But what's left is the variable or the number in the middle. So in this example, it is x. Yeah, that's that. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Also, I hope nobody can hear the whole. Nobody has said that they can. Okay. So, I want us to get started with this. I want this to show, so I'm gonna do that. Oh, I'm probably messing with my brain break at the bottom. That's fine. Whatever. Back up there. Okay. Over here we have x squared is equals to 25. Now, remember the whole objective when we're doing equations is we want to get our variable by itself. So, if we want to get our variable by itself, can somebody tell me what they think we have to do here? Square, not quite square, Ma. The square root. Handel is saying equate the exponents. Not quite. I think I know what you are thinking of though, Tando. But not in this case. In this case, our exponent is a number, not a variable. It's only when we have our variable in an exponent. So in other words, if it was something like 2 to the power of x, then we would equate the exponents. But for now, we have x squared. So in this case, we're going to do what the chat is telling us to. And we are going to square root that x. Why am I square rooting it? I want to get x by itself. Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to get this whole to finish so I can talk normally. Okay, we want to get x by itself. So in order to do that, I wanted to remove this square over here. But how do I do that? I have to use inverse operations. And the inverse of a square is a square root. When I do that, my root cancels and my square cancels. But because I've done that on the right-hand side, I have to go and square root the left-hand side as well. And what I'm left with is x on this side. And can somebody tell me what is the square root of 25? I see a lot of people saying 5, and that is the correct answer. I saw Tando was saying something about converting back to its square root. Okay, yes. That's correct. Okay, so that's that. Not too difficult, as I'm sure you guys can see. Let's go to the next one. I truly have no idea what this thing does sometimes. But okay. Before we move on, can you guys react for me? Let me know how you found that. Shouldn't have been too difficult. Thank you, Camo. No, Haley. I see some of you chose your skin colors. Nice to see, Itandila. What are you thinking about? What's confusing you? Yes, Itandila. Afternoon.
The place that's confusing me is when you square root x to the power of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we square root x to the power of 2?
Okay. So remember, what's the objective when we do equations? What do we want to do?
Wanna get x alone.
We want to get x alone. So I needed to get rid of that 2, right? I needed to get rid of the square.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if I got rid of the square, how was I going to do it? I needed to use inverse operations because that's what we do when we are solving equations, right?
Yes, sir.
So what's the inverse of the square?
To square root.
Square root. And so that is why I square rooted, because I wanted to get x by itself. I needed to remove a square. And so to remove the square, I square rooted. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure. Oh, and also I want you to try this. Feels less distracting. Okay. So that's that. We now have number 2 looking at us. I don't want anybody to be too worried about that for now. We have number 2, which is 2x cubed equals 16. So Umar gave us the answer. He said for the second one, x is equals to 2. Let's see how correct you are. You are correct, actually. I see that now. Okay, first things first. I want to remove the coefficient. Oh, it doesn't show all of my highlighters, but that's okay. So I want to get rid of this coefficient first. So remember, what I want you guys to know when we have equations, the first thing you're going to want to get rid of is terms without variables. Okay, those are the easiest ones. So those are the pluses and the minuses, and you just transpose. Then, when you have only one term left, the next thing you're going to want to get rid of is your denominators or fractions. Here we don't have any fractions, so we move on. The next thing you want to get rid of is the coefficients. And then the last thing you get rid of is your exponents. So if you're asking me, why are we getting rid of my coefficient first and not the 3? Well, that's why, because this is sort of the order that we follow. So I see the 2 over here. I want to remove this multiplication by 2. And Kuyanda has told us in the chat. Also, Kuyanda, I saw your hand was up earlier. I hope your question has been answered. If not, please raise your hand again. Kuyanda has told us we needed to divide by 2, which is 100% correct because my multiplication by 2 and division by 2 cancel out. And because I did it on that right-hand side, I have to do it on the left-hand side. What am I left with? I'm left with x cubed over here, which equals to 16 divided by 2 is what? Can somebody tell me what is 16 divided by 2? And there we go. We have 8 in the chat. Now that we have x cubed by itself, now I can go and say, okay, I need to get rid of this cubed. The opposite of a cube is a cube root. not a square root, but a cube root. And so because I cube rooted the one side, I must cube root the other side. On this side, my cube and my cube roots are going to cancel each other out. And so what I'm left with on this side is x is equals to, and can you guys give me what is the square root of 8? Not square, cube root. What is the cube root of 8? Something times something times something should give you 8. There you go. It is 2. Okay. Reactions in the chat, and thank you, Liacho, for the full answer. There we go. William had his hand up, put down very quickly. I hope you're okay, William, and that you don't have a question. Or I hope that you do have a question, but that you're going to ask it. Okay, lots of thumbs up. I didn't really see any not thumbs ups. Okay, let's move on. Let us do number 3 super quickly. I have the square root of x equals to 4. Sorry. Square root of x equals to 4. Somebody tell me, what do you think I do here? That's okay, William. 16. How did you get 16? Tando. Do you hear that? That's a plane flying over my house. Okay, how we do that is you squared the 4. 100%, Tando. How we do that is we say, okay, well, I want to get x by itself. To get rid of x, no, to get x by itself, I have to get rid of the square root. So can you guys tell me what's the opposite of a square root? What is the inverse operation of a square root? It is a square. So I'm squaring this whole side. And because I did that, I square this whole section. Square root and square cancel out. What am I left with? I'm left with x on this side equals to 4 squared, which is 16. I was going to cough, but sure, you guys, I'm not going to put you through that. Okay. Anybody have questions on how I got 16 here? Nobody? Okay, let's move on. No, man. Love to hear that. I said I wasn't going to put you through that, and I did. Okay. I don't know what happened to my notes. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my notes over here, but we're just gonna go with it. Oh, this is the other one. Okay, I see. I told you I was gonna ruin it. Oh no, no. Okay. Okay. I'm back. I'm back. Yo, guys, I should have just. Yo. Mm-mm. Hold on. Let's give this whole time to work. Okay. Take two. I don't know. Let's go. So over here we have x squared minus 1 equals 63. Now, if we go back here, remember what's the first thing we get rid of? Terms without variables. So this minus 1 is a term. I'm going to take that, transpose. What am I going to be left with? Remember, when we transpose, sign changes. Okay, x squared is equals to 64. Don't lose it now, Simone. Okay, now we want to get x by itself, square root. Why did I square root? There was a square over here. The opposite of a square is a square root. And so now what happens? Square and square root cancel out. What I do on the one side, I must do on the other. X is equals to, somebody want to tell me? Guyanda has in the chat, x is equals to 8. Okay. So that is that. I'm thinking you guys are getting the hang of it. How do we feel? Bree's happy? Great stuff. Cool. I think I think we do a brain break. Now, exactly halfway through our lesson. It's this thing you guys love to hate. Word scramble. I suppose I should number them. Mm, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. The theme is summer. Kaylee is on a roll. Bikini in the chat. Bikini. Good job. 7 is kite and 5 is swimming. Yes and yes. Yeah, well, I hope you get one.
Don't worry, Mama, coach. Mama will definitely get one.
Number 1 is Kevin, that's right. 11 is warm. Yes. 6 is ice cream, yeah. My handwriting looks like a 3-year-old. I think it is. 13, relax. Yes. 3 is pale. That was Kumar that told me that. 8 is June. We obviously are not having our summer in June. Number 9 is sunny. That's correct. I was just gonna say, Uma, I'm actually very surprised to see you participating. 10 is heat. HEAT. Good job. 7 is amo. Oh, 2 is shorts. Well done to Uma and his mom. Okay, what are we missing? We're missing 12. 12 and 14. Wait, I feel like somebody told me 14 was diving. Vacation. I actually didn't check this one. VACAT.
Ma'am, number 14, ma'am, is diving.
Thanks, Liako.
Yes, ma'am. Because ma'am, I want to answer a word, ma'am, but it's just that people keep stealing. Like, yo,
At least you said it, so nobody gets to do it.
at least.
Thanks, Liako, for that one.
Thank you, ma'am.
There we go. Okay. And now we collect our thingy-bobbies to figure out what this word is. I have to. It was quick because last time you guys said it was too hard. Then the first time was too easy. You guys don't know what you want. Okay, so that's in. So how I'm doing it is first circle is here, that goes there. The next circle is not this one, it's this one, which kind of doesn't make sense. But in T, okay. I don't know. That sounds wrong. Anyways, in T, I, H. What? What is this? N, T, I, H. Lord, I don't know what I'm doing. G, I, T. Okay, I'm clearly doing this wrong. Let's go backwards. Okay, the last word is all circles. So let's use the last circles, which is WAVED. That makes more sense. That's a word. That's waved. Then it's the next 4 circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4. JUST. That's just, if anybody has the joke, please put me out of my misery. So that was just. And then the next 2 circles is IT. So that's that, which means I did something very weirdly wrong in the beginning here. But okay. Then the next 3 circles is ING. Okay, that makes sense. Then the little, what is that, a hexagon is H. And then it's NOI. Oh, NOT. My gosh, I'm so dumb. What did the ocean say to the beach? Nothing. It just waved. There we go. I don't know what I was doing in the beginning. Don't ask me. I thank you guys for the laughs. Pretty laughs, even if it is. It just waved, guys. That's it. I think we can take another 2 more minutes for our brain break because this was very quick. I see a hand. Is that Liako? Yes, Liako.
Ma'am, this was actually a very quick brain break, ma'am. At least 3 more minutes.
Okay, I'll give 2.5.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
2.5 minutes. Does somebody want to play X and O's with me? I have this trick that I always catch people out with. Okay, there's my X. Who wants to be O? Immediately, is it a brain break question or a maths question? Brain break, yes, immediately. Immediately, you're more than welcome to ask your question. Yeah, you can play with me. Noma is saying the Joker's not joking. Immediately, are you playing? Are you talking? Are you telling me where you want to play?
Ma'am, can I play?
Sure. Well,
Actually, no, ma'am. I think okay. Next round, ma'am. Next round.
yeah,
I'll play with
yeah,
you.
yeah. Okay, so we have Emilia first and in Liahu next. Let's see if I can catch you guys out with my trick. Emilia, tell me where you want to play.
So, ma'am,
Mhm.
on the right, the first block.
Up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's me. I caught you, Emilia.
Ma'am.
Where are you playing next?
the in the middle row, the second block.
Middle, right? See, this is how I caught you. I love it when I catch people with my trick. Now I win.
Ma'am.
Do you see?
Yes, ma'am. This is why I don't like playing tic-tac-toe, ma'am, because I always get caught out.
So where do you want to play, Emilia? Let's solidify my win quick.
the 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 last block in the middle.
Ta-da!
Wow, ma'am.
Okay, Liako, you next.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am. But
ma'am.
yes, ma'am. But
Let's
ma'am,
see.
how do I annotate? Like, how do I draw on your board?
You can't.
I
That was
can't.
a Zoom thing. So you're gonna have to tell me where you're playing.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Okay, so ma'am, can I be X?
Sure, you can. There's
Okay,
another
ma'am.
trick I use, but I can't remember that one right now. Fine, yeah, I'll let you win.
Okay, ma'am.
Where you playing, Liako?
Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna play in the middle.
Okay. I'm gonna go here.
Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna. Where can I go now? Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna go down in the middle.
Down here.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody's knowing this one.
Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna go on the top, top right corner.
Okay. I feel like you're about to trick me. Is that what's happening?
Yes. Oh no, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'm gonna put mine to what you call this, the left.
Mm-hmm. This one.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Now it's me. Um. Okay. We have no winner here.
Yeah, no winner, ma'am.
But I think I win, right? That's my win.
Not really, ma'am. I also got the same thing as you, ma'am. It's basically a tie.
You actually got more, to be fair. You got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
kind of
finally, Aho, you can win.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure. And with that, our brain break comes to an end. To anybody who didn't get to play, I hope you enjoyed watching at least. If not, I hope you were stretching, drinking water, having a cough break, because we're getting back to maths now. Okay. To maths. Sloan, don't sing. You don't have a voice. I say as I sing. Somebody help me answer. The day I can't talk, nobody wants to answer. I'll wait. Anybody? Ah, fine. I will go by myself. Okay, first things first, we're looking for loose terms. Anybody see a loose term? I see a loose term. It is that +3 over there. What do I do with loose terms? I can transpose. Also, how do I know I can transpose loose terms? I can always transpose loose terms because if it's a loose term, it means it's either plus or minus. Because remember, terms are separated by plus or minus. So if it's a loose term, I can transpose because it means it's plus. I take it over, I change it to minus, or the other way around. Cool. So x cubed equals -24 minus 3. Anybody want to tell me what is -24 minus 3? I heard a hand go up. You say yes.
It's -27, ma'am.
Very well done. Are you answering the rest, Emefiele?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me a second. I just wanted to show everybody how we got that -27. If you think about a number line, all the way on the side would be 0. And as we went this way, it would have been -1, -2, -3, -23, -24, -25, 25, -26, -27, -28. We had -24, so that's where we started. We started at this -24. We needed to subtract 3. When we subtract, we go to the left on our number line. So 3 bunny hops. Oh, and don't erase it, maybe Simone. And we end up on -27. So that's how we did that. Emefiele, what next?
So, ma'am, so to get rid of the cube, we're going to say we're going to do the cube root of, the cube roots
Yes.
on both sides.
Uh-huh.
So then the cube root and the cube are going to cancel out and we'll be left with x.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cube root of -27 is wait, can you please just check?
Mm-hmm.
It's -3, man.
-3. Thank you very much for that one. No, I'm saying Itandile. Emefiele. I'm saying Itandile because I saw Itandile in the chat, but thank you, Emefiele, for answering.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Pleasure. Emefiele was the only one who felt sorry for me and my voice. So love that. How did we get -3? What a good question. Wow. Remember, it's a block times a block times a block must equal to -27. Now, you can't just say it's 3 times 3 times 3. That's not going to work out because it's going to give me a positive answer. So it had to be a negative times a negative times a negative. Negative times a negative would have made a positive, and then times this negative again gave us the negative. Okay, what was I saying? Yes, so nobody actually asked that question, but I asked it because it was a good question. So that is how we got -3 over there at our square root. No, cube root at our cube root. Um, okay, that's that. Anybody confused as to how we got this? Anybody have a question? Nia, speaking Afrikaans in the chat. I'm thinking. Nobody's confused. We have Oluche giving us a thumbs up. Okay, moving on. Next one. Ek verstaan. That means I understand. For anybody who does not know. Okay, next one. Anybody want to help me answer? It's kind of the same. Yay! I see. I think that's Layla. Yes, Layla.
Well, I'm not really sure how to calculate it, but I'll try.
Okay, thank you. What's the first thing we want to move?
I believe um I believe we moved the 8. If I'm wrong, am I?
Okay. Yeah, yes, but not entirely. You could have moved the 8, but it would have caused a lot of process. So let me tell you why we're going to do what we're about to do.
Okay, ma'am.
Remember, when we're solving equations, we want to get x by itself.
Yes.
Okay. So in order to get x by itself, everything that's on the side of x must be moved. Do you see that?
Yes.
So now that I've told you that, do you want to try to guess again what we're going to move first?
The 4.
The 4, 100%. And when I move it over, what happens to it?
It's 8 plus 4.
So when I move it over,
Oh, never mind. Minus 4.
it would have been plus, but because we move it over, sign changes, -4. So let's just carry this down for now. Tell me, what is 8 minus 4, Layla?
4.
Great. Now we're here. Now what? What's the biggest thing you see that's like blocking everything from this x right now?
2.
Not really, because if you look at the square root, you see that the square root is above the 2 and the x.
So it's something squared.
Mm-hmm. So it's a square root. To remove that square root, I can square. That's exactly what you said, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then, because I did it on that side, I'm doing it on this side, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we please look at how pretty my brackets look? Wow, they're so round. Anyways, moving on. What happens now, Leila?
The 4 becomes a 16,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe the 2 becomes a 4 times x squared.
Which
But
2 are you talking about? There's 1, 2, 3 2s here.
the first one, the one
Okay.
under. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying the 2 would become a 4 and then x squared, but that would have been what happened if it was like that. But
Oh,
remember, all of this is square rooted. So what actually happens is it's like doing that +1 -1. My square cancels out with my square root. And what happens then is, what am I left with there on that side, Leila?
2x.
2x. There you go. And now we have one more step left, which is what?
I think we divide 16 by 2.
Yes. Why are we dividing by 2?
because 2x is 2 times x.
100% what I just did there. Because that means multiplication. To remove the multiplication, we had to divide. So good job. And so what happens now?
The 16 will equal to 8,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2 will just become 1, which is just x.
Because 2 divided by 2 is 1, which means we have 1x, which is just x. Happy?
Yes, ma'am.
Wasn't so bad, right, Leila?
Yes.
Good job. Thank you for answering with me. That was very well done. Any questions on this question? English, that's all good. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. We're going to move on. If you have questions that come up at any time, feel free to ask. I don't know how I set up these notes, but they're bothering me. Okay, next, very similar format. See a loose term, we don't want it. Why did I move +1? I want to get x by itself. So to do that, everything that's on the side with x must go. The first thing that can go is this loose term over here. It's sort of like, you know, when you're like emptying out your school bag and then there's like loose stuff, and that's like when you shake it, that's the first thing that comes out. That's what our loose term sort of is. It's the first thing that we can remove. So that's 2x cubed equals 55. I've taken the 1 over on the side, but whenever I transpose, we have a sign change. Cool. Now I'm gonna ask, what is 55 minus what? It's a very hard question. 54, there you go. Inise, I saw your hand was up. Is up.
I was gonna answer this question, ma'am.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next, I don't know, Inise, if you want to answer the rest or. Okay, I take that as a no. What we do next is, somebody tell me what's the next thing that was on my list. Did I say we get rid of exponents next or coefficients next? Like that, I don't know. Not this. You was thinking about 55 minus 1. We see Leila saying exponents. Bree has said exponents. But look, guys, if we have a look, coefficients, exponents last. So I'm gonna go back here. I want to remove my coefficient. So just like Umar said, we're going to divide by 2. Why am I dividing by 2? My x over here is being multiplied by 2 because it means 2 times x. So to get rid of that multiplication, I divide by 2. Multiplication and division by 2 cancel. Yes, Emile?
Ma'am, I wanted to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
So,
54
ma'am,
divided by 2.
so x cubed stays, and then 54 divided by 2 is 27.
Yes.
And then we're going to cube root x. So
Mm-hmm.
then the cube root and the cube are going to cancel out, which is going to leave us with x. And then the cube root of 27 is 3.
100%. Thank you for that, Insu.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, great. And then, was that my last question? No. We have one more question. And you guys know I might actually finish on time today. Yo, let me not jinx myself. Let me not jinx myself. There is a hand raised. Yes, yeah. Oh.
Ma'am, can we end early today, ma'am? Like at least like 2 minutes early or one.
Why?
I don't know, ma'am. I think my eyes. I don't know what's going on here. My eyes. I don't know. Like I think I need to sleep.
Okay, we're all sick. I will try, Liacho. I'm gonna
Okay,
try.
ma'am.
Okay. Same format. All of these questions are in the same format. We have this loose term. First thing we want to move. Cube root x equals -4. I transpose the 1. When I do that, we have a sign change. Cube root x equals to, remember, if you do a number line, if I make this 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6, I'm starting at -4. I am subtracting 1. When I subtract on the number line, I move to the left. And I saw Umar said in the chat earlier, to the left, 100% to the left. And that gives us -5. Now, we have this cube root over here. Somebody tell me, what is the opposite of a cube root? Cube. Thank you, Umar. So, because I'm using inverse operations, to get rid of a cube root, I can cube this whole thing, and my cube root and my cube will cancel out. But because I cubed this left-hand side, I had to cube the right-hand side. And what I'm left with is x on my left-hand side equals to -5 times -5 is +25 times -5 again is -125.